All right, I got a little bit of an unorthodox drill for you today. We're going to talk about how a yo-yo, and don't make fun of me, I'm no yo-yo master, I'm barely getting this thing done, but how the idea of a yo-yo can help you to shallow out that club and make it a whole heck of a lot easier. So whenever we're doing a yo-yo, you know, you're kind of flicking your wrist backwards like that. And again, it's this motion that we're looking for. And like I said, I don't really do the yo-yo, but I can get the idea of having this wrist kind of flick back in that direction. And that's the same kind of feeling that you get when you shallow out the golf club. So let me go ahead and show you what I mean by this and that angle coming back. And then we'll talk about two questions that I get. They're really, to be honest with you, they don't make much sense why this would be any good. How would flicking my wrist back like that be a good thing? I'm gonna go over this. So when I make my backswing, so many players come down steep, and now this club shaft gets tipped up here. And then what happens from there is if we keep swinging down, we just slam that club into the ground. So we stand up out of our posture, we flip with our hands, so we get a little bit of a flip like this, and somewhat salvage contact to get some pretty decent shots. But if you look at the pros, it's not what they're doing. What the pros are doing is they're getting to the top of the swing. As they come down, they're letting this club drop to the inside, they're getting the club shaft pointing at the golf ball or slightly outside the golf ball, and then they're rotating very open with their hips. So instead of doing this move, the stand up, hips are stalled out, not very open. They're getting here, opening up the hips, getting that club from the slot, getting it from the inside, and daggone if every single one of them doesn't look exactly like that. So this yo-yo move is the same thing that's happening there. That's what's gonna get that club with this right hand shallowing out and from the inside. But I get two questions. Number one, how in the heck do I take this club and do this yo-yo move and get it way back in here and not just hit it a mile to the right? Wouldn't my swing path just be so far to the right? And if you do the current hip motion that you're doing, so if I get this club to shallow out and I stand up, I am way to the inside because my hips aren't very open. So as my club drops in, my hips stall out, my chest is closed, and I am way to the inside. But the pros, what they're doing is they're letting that club get to the inside and then they open their body. So the hips are opening up. The chest is actually 20 or 30 degrees open. So if I'm hitting this way, my hips are not only open, but if I take my left arm off there, my chest is also open. I feel like it's going out in front of me when I'm swinging through here, which is allowing me to release that club in front. That squares the club plane back up. So again, if I'm shallowing this out to the inside, as I open my body, not only my hips, but my shoulders, now that's all squared up. So you do want to swing a mile to the right. That's what gets it from the inside. And as you open your body up, as simply as I would open up, and I bet everybody, I guarantee you, when you're watching this, you could stand up right now and do this. As you shallow that club out, you just turn your entire body toward the camera. I guarantee you that you can do this and just open up your body. So that means that you can do that in your golf swing also. So that's the first question I get. How does it not go to a mile to the right? It does go to a mile to the right. We just have to open like the pros are doing too to get it nice and straight. All right, now question number two, doesn't the face get wide open when I do that? So maybe I'm not swinging a mile to the right, but when I do this yo-yo type move and I'm throwing my right wrist back, isn't that opening the face wide open? And as I come through here, that face is just gonna be pointing way out to the right. Well, in reality, it actually helps to square up the face, to close the face. As I do that yo-yo, kind of lay my wrist back, I also turn my palm out. So if I'm looking at my right hand only, this would be palm up, and that would be a very open face. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna slide the grip down to here so we can look at the face a little bit easier. As I open this up, if my palm stays facing towards me, this face is wide open. As I stay down with that, that's going way to the right. As I do that yo-yo move and I turn my palm out, or if you can imagine the inside of my hand going toward you as I start down or away from the target, that actually squares the face up. So as I do the shallow move and I have that palm out, this wrist bowed, then now the face is pointing way back here. As I keep on going down, that's very closed. That's kind of that Dustin Johnson type move that you're seeing. Same thing with the left hand. Most players aren't left hand dominant, so it feels a little awkward there, but as I do that yo-yo type move and I turn the palm out, that gets the bow in the left wrist that you're seeing so many players doing. So to answer your question, the yo-yo move is fantastic, but there's two things you have to do. Number one, I have to rotate through it. As soon as I lay that club off, I gotta keep on turning. I gotta feel like my body is toward the target when I make contact with this golf ball. That's the way the pros look. That's the way I want you to look. Number two, as I do that yo-yo move, I want my palm to turn out. That way I square that face up. You can think about the left wrist bowing. I really like that, but with so many players being right hand dominant, I bet you feel a lot better focusing on your right hand and the palm being out as you do that yo-yo, and that squares up the face. So if you put this together, man, you can turn as hard as you want to and you get that nice tight draw, just like you're seeing with the best players in the world. You're keeping the posture and your body's opening up. There we go, nice draw right down the left center of the fairway. Not gonna do much better than that. Now this is a great way to get started on shallowing out that club, and really this is an eye-opener for a lot of players. But what about this club squaring up? This is where I see a lot of players going wrong. We're so used to stalling and flipping, and when we cast a little bit, that closes the face. So if you're stalling the hips, if you're standing up, if you're a little bit steep, I guarantee you, or there's no way about it, you're not used to squaring the face by rotating the hands. So we have to learn that palm out. Or I have another video where I've had a ton of success with players squaring up the face the right way. It's called the tennis racket drill. I'm gonna play a preview of that here in a second, and it's a specific way that you're moving your hands, a specific way to visualize it. Just like we did with the yo-yo, we do the same thing with the tennis racket to make it really easy to square up the face as you're coming in your downswing. I'll play a preview of that here in a second. All you need to do is go ahead and click the card that pops up on your screen. If you don't see the card, no worries, just go ahead and go down below in the description. Go ahead and click the link there and you'll get instant access to that video. Once you pair the yo-yo up with this tennis racket move that I'm gonna show you, it's gonna start to click like you've never had it before, where you feel like, yeah, I can go ahead and turn my body as far open as I want to and not worry about that ball fading. It's gonna have that nice tight draw on it. I can turn my body open as much as I want to, and I'm still gonna get this club in the slot because now it makes sense with what I'm doing with my hands and arms. If I'm used to squaring the face up like this, then it's never gonna make sense to shallow it out. We gotta get that tennis racket move down first. So I'll play a preview here in a second. I can't wait to see you there. I can't wait to show you the secret tennis racket drill and have you playing some fantastic golf. Good player problems. We're gonna talk about shallowing that club shaft out as we're starting down, as we're doing this rotating of the face that we worked on in the last video. As we start this downswing, what you'll see with basically all of the top players is instead of coming kind of over the top and letting the hands come out away from their body, letting the club come out away from their body, again coming down steep into the ball and then having to open up, kind of fillet open the face and add loft to it, the flattening of the shaft should happen as soon as we start down. So as we start this downswing, what we want to have happening here, you can imagine that if I draw a line from the hosel of my club up through my right elbow, that's my swing plane line, my elbow plane. As I go to the top of the swing, I'm going to be slightly above that. And then as I start down, I want my hands to start to shallow out. I want the club to shallow out inside of this elbow plane. And at the same time,